Okay, so instead of thinking of it as being thought transmission to other people, think about it as thought transmission onto your reality. Then you're naturally in flow. You're naturally in that channel. You're naturally in the quickest and fastest timeline from where you are now to the end of the life that you want to have in all areas of your life. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I want to explain this to you in a different way today. So maybe this will make it easier for you to let go of your old story and to stop thinking that you're controlling people in your reality, because you're not controlling people in your reality. You're controlling yourself when you want to manifest whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter the amount of money that you want to earn. If you want a successful business, to marry your specific person, to buy a beautiful home, to move to a different country, there is no limit. And if you have a desire in your heart and soul, the desire means that out of the infinite potential realities, that is, from my perspective, the highest and best, which means also that you're closest to that. If, in other words, you are ready to experience the life with your specific person, the money, the health, the home, the successful business, the promotion, the raise, winning the lottery, you're ready for it if you feel the desire for it. But what happens is your ego starts to feed you all of your old beliefs to try to stop you, to keep you small. But some of you, what you're not realizing is that I've talked about infinite realities and quantum mechanics and quantum physics for years on the channel. I'm not a scientist. I'm not claiming to be one at all, but it's proven. So what I'm talking about, and specifically in today's session, is not woo-woo and it's not wishful thinking. It's just a fact. The sooner you can get on board with this, the better for you and the better for your life and anything and everything that you want to manifest. So anyway, I believe that today's video is going to help. I had a thought, an idea. I'm going to explain, and I affirm that it's going to come out clearly. This video will be relatively short and sweet. Anyway, before I get further into this, if you love my content, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. I appreciate you. If you want me to be your coach to help you manifest anything related to your specific person or anything else, it doesn't matter because it all already exists, so you wouldn't have the desire for it. I know that I can help you. Email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to the website, coreunion.com, book whatever you want to book. My scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you as soon as possible. We are all made up of, I can't even tell you how many atoms. I'm made up of atoms. The TV or the computer or the whatever you're watching this, the device is made up of atoms. The dogs, which you can't quite see behind me, this home, your specific person, every single thing in your 3D life in this solidified realm is not actually solid. It just appears to be solid matter. And what makes the particles and the waves collapse into a different solidified experience, in other words, manifestation, is your observation on it. And it's a consistent observation, consistent awareness. So consistency is the key. Frequency is the key. Instead of thinking of it like thought transmission going out into people's heads, instead accept what you have in your heart and soul as being real, that your inner world and your imagination is the cause and your experience in reality is the effect. What goes in will come out, basically. So the same way, like if you're entering data or information in a database, if it's junk data, when you go to write a query or a report, you're going to get junk back. Same way if you're using Google to find information or entering information in any program. If you put the wrong information in, you're going to get really crazy results. It's not going to be, it's really not going to be what you want. Every single atom is in a superposition all at once, which means a single atom, if you thought of a single atom, it's not just in one fixed place, it's in superposition. It's the same with us. And things move at a slower place, a slower pace in this realm of the 3D. But if you start to think of your life instead and reality as this vast amount of infinite waves of potential, and when you stay and it's like you switch the channel to the life that you want to watch, your identity of who you are, what you believe about yourself, about love, about your specific person, about the relationship, the dynamic, the security, the love, like the support, your how you guys treat each other, the things that you guys enjoy doing, and you think of everything clearly in detail. And you think of your all areas of your life in detail, the money that you want, the health that you want, all of this, right? You have to think of this as you're sending those thoughts, you're transmitting it to all of the infinite waves of possibility. And the clearer and more focused you get, and the more disciplined and consistent you are, then all of these infinite potentials collapse into solidified forms, which is then your actual experience. In other words, the revelation, the manifestation in life. But you've always been doing this. You just didn't know. So in that way, you can let go of the old experience with your specific person, for example. But how do I get them to the, how do I, what if this, but this, stop, because that was all, you didn't realize that you were choosing that out of infinite possibilities through your fears. That's all. So you can forgive yourself and let that go. And you can also forgive your person and let it go. And then detachment is key simply because you're detaching from the 3D. You're still living your life. You're still going to be seeing things and hearing things, but you're detaching any negative meaning from it. And you're assigning positive meaning to whatever happens. And then you're staying in the end consistently, which then is actually you're choosing to observe out of the infinite number of potentials and possibilities what it is that you want. And then that collapses an infinite number of atoms into their solidified form. And that solidified form is then going to be what the experience is. Okay, so instead of thinking of it as being thought transmission to other people, think about it as thought transmission onto your reality. And then the consistency and awareness on what it is that you want then reveals to you through the solidified, the wave then collapses and becomes solidified matter. So only stay aware of what you want and make that matter and let go of the old story because those circumstances don't matter. Okay. I want to read a success from one of my clients. We've been working together for quite some time. She's always doing incredibly well. She's leveled up in all areas of her life. She just got this amazing promotion. I've come on here and I've talked about clients who have, that they're engaged now or married, living together, committed, or they're just in the unfolding with their specific person. I've told you stories around how clients have gone from making no money to being millionaires to giving themselves $80,000 raises. I've had clients who have manifested $10,000, $15,000 out of nowhere after just working with me for, a matter of maybe, I shouldn't even give you a time because then you guys put pressure on it. But it's just the way it is. You change your life experience when you change self, when you change your identity and your beliefs, again, through all of the things that I said earlier. So let me read this though, because I wanted to share these two success stories so you guys can just be a little bit inspired. And then I'll share, after she wrote what she wrote, I'll share a little bit about her and her mirror soul. So first, she purchased a couch and it turned out to be really uncomfortable. So this is what happened. She said, I purchased an expensive couch online, but when it arrived, the quality was horrible. At first, I tried to work with the seller to get replacement cushions, but they minimized my concern and they refused to help. Honestly, I didn't believe I could even ask for a refund since my cat had scratched the sofa up in a few places. But during one of our sessions, I shared the situation with you, and you immediately said, absolutely not. Reach out for a refund. At first, I resisted it and thinking it wasn't even possible, but then I followed your advice. On the very last day of my 30-day deadline, I submitted a refund request and eventually opened a dispute with my bank. After back and forth emails with the seller asking me to cancel my dispute and only offering a partial resolution, I stood my ground. In the end, my bank not only refunded me the entire $2,000, but they also told me I could go ahead and keep the couch, basically until she can find another couch. This was a huge win in stepping into my power and asking for what I actually wanted instead of settling. And then the job search. I've also been working on finding a role in the field that I want. I wanted to step into a managerial position, even though I didn't have direct management experience. At first, I doubted myself. The first interview I went on moved forward, but the salary wasn't aligned with what I desired. Normally, I would have settled, but I chose to stand in my worth and I declined it. The second interview didn't result in an offer, which was discouraging, but I kept going. Finally, the third interview turned into an offer at the very top of my salary range, of that salary range of the job, and they gave me a $15,000 increase. This experience taught me the power of deciding what I want, holding firm, and not wavering. By grounding myself back into the end result, I created exactly what I desired. The takeaway for both of these wins reinforced that nothing is unachievable when I stand in my truth and I don't settle. Your guidance has helped me stretch past old patterns of doubt and compromise, and I'm really proud of how these situations turned out. And I've also come on and I've shared in the past the unfolding that she's had and she continues to have with her mirror soul. She realized through the process that it's her, and this is not her fault. And just like it's not your fault, she has a story around men, specifically because of things that happened with her father growing up. There was an abandonment, not good enough, and rejection story. Without going into her personal and private details, when she engages in only observing in the version of herself and the version of her mirror soul who deeply love each other, and she's consistent in that. And then in her life, she's choosing herself, loving herself, putting herself first, working out. Her home is organized and clean. She feels good. She's not waiting around. She's just loving her life. And she remains focused and aware on only seeing the best version of her person. Then in her 3D, he tells her he sees her as his wife. He wants to have children with her, that he wants to be married by the end of the year. He goes on and he tells her all of the things that are in perfect alignment with what she sees for the two of them. But then sometimes, if there's a lack of communication, she gets in her feelings about it, and there's the rejection and abandonment story. So she's learned that when this comes up, this doesn't belong to my mirror soul. This belongs to my father. So, and it's not my fault. So, what I need to do in that moment is keep my mirror soul and our dynamic and our life together over here in a safe place, because I know that exists, but take the feelings of the emotion. You guys know that emotions and feelings are two different things, right? So, the trigger is the emotion, the emotion is the visceral reaction. And then you end up with feelings with that. So, the trigger happens. Now what we need to do is go within, because now we're having feelings of sadness and fear and all of that stuff, and we're assigning negative meaning. So we know that the trigger, we're detaching it from our person and detaching it from the 3D. And we're just going to go within and give love to ourselves in that moment. We're literally telling the little part of ourselves, whether it's the little 5-year-old energy that's active within us, or 15-year-old, or whatever it is. We're just going in and we're giving that little part of us love and comfort, and we're crying and we're getting the feelings. We're expressing the feelings out because we can't hold on to it because it causes disease. This is why we end up unhealthy. This is why we end up with some form of a health issue, for example. So we give ourselves love. And then what we want to do is we surrender to God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, your creator, because in the lower level of consciousness, you have separated yourself from God. Or you wouldn't feel these feelings of, fear, despair, anger, frustration. If you're in those feelings, you're not in alignment with God. It's that simple. And you're not in alignment with your higher self. You're not in alignment with that version of reality, which already exists. All right. So we just give ourselves love. We surrender. We detach. Thank you. I trust you. I know you're handling everything for me. I feel your love within me. Thank you. And then you can do a little revision if you want to. Do a little revision with your father, for example. If you can't do that, that's okay. You can still go back energetically and give that little part of you the love that it needed back then. I think it's good to allow yourself to go back and allow the person to apologize to you if that feels safe to do it. Okay. Anyway, so then after you've done that, now you're just nurturing yourself, you're loving yourself. Then, as soon as you can, you make sure that you get back in alignment with your end, with your person. That's it. And you do whatever inner work actually resonates with you, because whatever is resonating with you is working. When you are feeling that sense of it's normal, it's natural, and you feel peaceful. And then when you're living your life and you're enjoying your life and you're listening to your soul, you're going places you want to go, you're doing things you want to do, and you're also being very conscious and aware of other areas of your life constantly that you want to manifest. Okay. Then you're naturally in flow. You're naturally in that channel. You're naturally in the quickest and fastest timeline from where you are now to the end of the life that you want to have in all areas of your life. So your frequent awareness, your observation of what it is that you want is basically collapsing the infinite into the solidified matter. That's what it means to manifest and to allow it to reveal itself. Okay. It's working through you. It's not being attracted to you, although it might appear that way. And again, you're not changing people's minds in the 3D. You're completely selecting the reality where everything is as you want it to be. Don't get lost and confused if the 3D isn't showing you evidence yet, because when you are stuck on watching for evidence, then what is your attention and awareness on? Your attention and awareness is on not having it. So you are embodying and identifying and believing that you don't have it. So there does need to be a little bit of a period of, whether you want to call it delusion, it doesn't matter, but that you detach from the 3D. I think it's really good to just remain as present and aware that your entire life is infinite and reality is always conforming to you as much as you possibly can. Okay. Anyway, I intend and I affirm that this video helped a lot of you. Thank you for the comments letting me know that just by watching my videos, you are back together with your specific people, and anything else that you want to manifest. Please do affirm down below. I am 100% in alignment with my heart and soul, and I am open to receiving our beautiful life together now. Reach out to me if you need me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.